All right, chat. It is Friday. Sorry about missing a stream yesterday. But you know what? We're here today, and that's what matters. Guys, I've had this in my drawer, and I've not been looking at it. Because as you know, I wasn't 100% happy with how this turned out. Or is turning out, because it's not technically done yet. So we're going to finish it today. And whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. And yeah, we're not touching it anymore after that. That's all she wrote. So we're just gonna do it. Hold up. My paint. Let's see if I can reach it. Chat is probably a bad idea, but I'm gonna try and reach it. But anyway, yeah, we're doing this. We're gonna do the darn thing. We're gonna finish this painting. So I got paint all over my hands. So we don't have to do it anymore because I was a little bit sad with how it turned out. But you know, sometimes that happens. It happens. It's alright. I feel like I have cables running everywhere. Whoa, trying to get that in the paint. There we go. I'm gonna pull out. First off, chat, I think we need to clean our palette because it's a nightmare. It's just like really, really messy, and I'm gonna need a lot of like clean paint because I think things are getting a little too muddy because I was being a little bit lazy. I know you're all a little bit shocked. But when you're painting with real paints, it's pretty easy to start getting lazy because it's so much more work to get a color. I'm working digitally where you could just color pick. If you guys have ever worked digitally and then go into physical paints, you know the struggle. You guys know it too. It's us. I'm like so much faster. You know, a couple months ago, guys, earlier this year when we were doing those like paint studies digitally, I feel like I was so much faster. And I was thinking about that yesterday. And I think that's part of the issue that I'm having with this painting here is I'm not painting like I do when I work digitally. Like I'm not thinking in layers as much. And it might have to do with the fact that I need to wait for the paint to dry. But I really, like today, want to try to imagine like how I would have approached painting this digitally because I feel like my digital artwork actually comes out better. And maybe it's because I'm not fighting like the medium, but I'm gonna try and like channel kind of the way I layer things in like a digital format and see if I can apply it to doing the gouache painting. So that's what we're gonna do after I clean my palette. I don't think we're gonna need this gray purple here anymore. I've seen like a few clean open spots so we can get a fresh start. And then, you know what, we probably don't need this one either. A bit of white paint here too. Yeah, I just want to have it done so we can start another one. Like, I don't like to spend too long on one painting. Especially a small one like this. That white paint does not want to come off. Somehow I scratched my palette. There's like a big scratch in it. Don't know how I did that. This is my very first watercolor palette. Lots of memories. Remember taking it to class. But then I finally got my like nice one that has like a lid. I bought the exact one my teacher had. I was like in love with hers. Like I need it. Okay, is that gonna be enough? Is it gonna be enough? Maybe let's clean this little spot here too. Just to make sure I have enough room to mix, because I think we need to do, we just need to do a little bit more layering of some like yellow washes over top of the grass. It's still not warm enough for me. It's still a little too cool. Like I want the foreground to be warmer and then the background cooler. So we need to work on doing that. I'm hoping by just layering, like if I am patient and I just keep layering the yellow, it's gonna work. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but we're gonna find out. I feel like I need to do something. That's like one of the pieces that is kind of bothering me like the most about this piece. And a little bit like the values. I feel like we're not getting enough. Like I feel like the space between here and here, it's a little hard to figure out how like distance-wise, like how far that is. Cause in the reference, guys, there was like, this is like the hill edge kind of was here, and then it dips down back behind it, and then it goes up again. So like I wanted to add kind of like the dip in the terrain, but I'm not sure how to do it without just looking like a dark patch. So maybe if we slightly add a little bit more cool blue down towards this edge, but not really darker, not too much darker, just maybe a little more saturated blue. We can kind of pull off that kind of like change in the landscape, like kind of like we did here, just extend that more. And then we're gonna layer more of the yellows in the grass section here. And then I think we need to go with a strong, like mid-tone yellow and do some more of this kind of like grassy texture that we did last week. I like that. I want to do more of that. And as far as the cows go, chat, I was looking at them. I'm not sure I'm actually going to do much more to them. I was thinking last week that they needed a lot more. But after like letting it sit and then pulling it out and just kind of like looking at it from a distance. If I show you guys on this camera, like I think they look okay. Another thing I want to address, again, the tree we're working on, I think we're doing good. It's looking a lot better. I just want to like clean up some more of the edges where we were trying to hide the other tree we did before. It looks so good. Thank you, Sarah. Also, welcome to chat. So yeah, I think other than that, we're pretty much gonna make adjustments to everything except for the cows. That's kind of where this is the track we're on, chat. So maybe we go ahead and we'll mix up some like white and blue, do the sky, and then do the bottom as the sky dries. Just kind of like bounce back and forth. I think that's what we're gonna do. All right, let's mix some of that sky paint. Yeah, today, Sarah, we are finishing this painting. Like, ready or not, I am done with it. I want it to be finished. Why is it called gouache? I don't know. It could be French? Hold on, let me Google this. I've actually kind of wanted this. It might mean something in another language. All right, chat, we're gonna see what Google has to say. Okay. They're talking about the characteristics of it. That's not what I'm really looking for. Apparently something called acrylic gouache. Don't know what that is. Oh, it's from the Italian word. Oh boy. Guys, I can't speak Italian, so have mercy. Gauzo? G-U-A-Z-Z-O, which roughly translates to water, paint, or mud. Historically, this earthy name stuck for a few reasons. The muddy texture was originally formulated adding heavy white fillers like chalk, clay, or marble dust to traditional watercolors. Oh, okay. It originated in the 16th century. Okay, there you go. The term traveled from Italy through France as decorative painters in the 18th century who officially adopted and coined it as gouache. Yeah, so I think that's it. It's Italian. I blame the French, but it's Italian. Da, da, da. Hope I didn't have any water on. Nope, I didn't. All right, we're good. All right, I'm gonna clean your brush. Be good. Very interesting. It was talking about how they originally made it by like mixing chalk or clay or powdered like marble in with watercolors. And it really is just watercolors but more opaque. So very interesting. When I was saying that it's like pretty much watercolor, not really wrong. It's just got a little more ingredient to it. All right, let's see what happens here. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Apparently we're having a paint mixing stream. I added way too much blue. Shoot. Actually, Chad, didn't this dry? It dried a lot lighter. So we do it. All right, let's see what happens when we put it down. Oh, actually, that's a perfect match. Shoot. It's a good thing I'm not quitting this day job. I'm actually kind of good at this. I got lucky because I thought I added too much. It's actually fine. All right, let's do it. Let's try not to knock over water. That would not be good. Da, da, da. All right, just gonna spread this out a little bit. All right, we're gonna apply this pretty thick. Oh yeah, we gotta lock it in, chat. We're focused. If I just zone out and I get really quiet, you guys just know that I'm locked in. Oh, I'm leaning out of camera again. It's so hard knowing where I should put the camera because sometimes I'm back here, sometimes I'm like literally right up against the... You guys can see the cable I have in front of me now. Not ideal. But we're gonna do what we can do. Now I should be careful, I probably shouldn't add too much here in the... Get a drop more water. It's a little bit too thick still. Okay, looking good. We gotta rescue this tree. I think we're on the pathway to saving it, like we started last week, but today we're really gonna reestablish its shape a little bit better. Fix these branches so it doesn't look like trash. If I turn it, just kind of like, I think I need to keep getting rid of some of these greens I put in here, like I shouldn't have done to begin with. Like they just don't, it was too distracting. Alright, we need a little bit more here. I'm honestly most excited to make the grass look better. I'm kind of tired of trying to fix this tree, but it's like a necessary evil at this point. You know? Trying to fix some of these weird spots over here too. It's actually drying out pretty good. Which I didn't expect because it's kind of like humid today. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. If I ever am like painting out of camera and you're like, can't see, just be like, yo Emma, we can't see. Because you know how I get, guys, I get a little hyper focused. It's a little bit like easier digitally because I can't like pull my tablet away all the time, but like with the paper I have a tendency of just kind of like moving it everywhere. Like I gotta stop. I think I need to do again, which would be fun, is some more like still life painting. I feel like putting myself through some like studies with the gouache might be a good way to push me to getting a little bit better at this. Like, you know how we did those, like, remember when I was painting those glass candies digitally? That was like breaking my brain, but doing something like that I think would actually be really, really good. Still lifes would be cool. I also advocate for some more Muppets. Yo, let's go. Maybe we should do some like, instead of like inking them, we just paint them without like line work, kind of like oil painting a little bit. Yeah, I also think painting more Muppets is definitely in the future. Because that was really, really fun. If you didn't see Wednesday, I did one of the Muppets. I did Rizzo. And then I also did Elmo from Sesame Street. And they turned out really, really cute. We definitely need to do more Cookie Monster. But I also want to do Miss Piggy. I really want to do Miss Piggy. We gotta do her at some point. And I kind of want to do Fozzie Bear's mom from the like Christmas special. I literally love her. It's like one of my favorite Muppet movies. It's like so wholesome. And then maybe like Swedish Chef. That would be kind of funny. I'd make it and then hang it in our kitchen. I feel like my mom would appreciate that. She loves the Muppets. Okay, the tree is looking a lot better, chat. I think we're doing a good job. I want to thank everyone for the encouragement over the last 2 sessions of this, because your girl was definitely hating on this tree, but chat was very positive about it. So I just kept at it. I was like, all right, y'all believe in me. I gotta believe in me. Gotta trust that process. Harper's is like, I don't know my process with gouache paints yet. This is so different. Okay, I think we're good. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna block that all out. I'm gonna fill that later with maybe some cooler shades. There we go. All right, I think we're good. Let's go to the grass. We gotta take a little break. Let's see if I can wash some of this paint out with my brush, though. I don't want to waste it. I think that's why I have trouble with oil painting. Like, it's just inevitable that you're gonna end up wasting some paint. But you can get a lot more done with watercolors and gouache paints. Like, especially if you're doing oils and you want to do like the thicker, more impressionistic styles, that adds up, chat. I'm like, I can't afford to paint like that. So if you'll notice when I show you some of my very first oil paintings, they are very, I used a lot of glazing techniques where you thin out the paint with oil and you just kind of like layer thin layers of paint. You'll see. I did get a little bit more brave a couple years down the road, but But like brave enough for is like, you see a little brush texture, but it's nowhere near like standing off the canvas. Not like some of those really fun, like thick oil paintings, you know what I mean? Where you could see the brush strokes. Like, oh, I love those. But it's like paint's expensive. So, you know, you do what you can do. It's like I aspire to have that style, but my bank account does not allow for it. So maybe someday, if I'm ever like painting like that, you're just gonna know that like maybe I won the lottery or something. There's gonna be signs. The sign will be me painting with a lot of really thick oil paint. All right, we're just gonna layer yellow and see what happens in the foreground, just to saturate it a little bit more before we move on to kind of like layering. Oh my gosh, you guys can't see what's happening. All right, you guys don't need to see the palette. The important thing is happening down here. Yeah, what I'm doing now, like, especially with this yellow paint, it's very translucent. So this is essentially what I would do with oils, is I would come like with my paint, I'd mix in the oil instead of water to thin it out, and then I would just like layer it. But I mean, it's like it's technically like an actual technique for oil painting, like it does exist. But yeah. But they do say you don't want to do, it's like a certain way you're not supposed to layer it. Don't quote me on this, chat. But you're not supposed to do like your like thin washes and then try and put thick paint on top. So you want to work from like thick to thin. And then also like cons is like, if you want to do another layer on top, you have to wait until that dries. And the more you thin out your oil paints with the oil medium, the longer it's gonna take to dry out. So definitely a lot of waiting. Yeah. There was one painting I did, when I say it took a year for it to be dry, and I even used water-based like oils, it took literally a year. Yeah. It just like, it kept feeling like tacky, and I didn't, like, maybe I could have probably done it, but like by the time it was getting to be like 7 or 8 months like old, the painting, like that had been drying, the problem is that it was coming around to like summertime, and our Augusts are like really humid, so that probably contributed to extra couple months of wait time, but it is what it is. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I feel like these washes are also helping blend the grass a little bit. I think I went a little too crazy on some of this darkness there. It's gonna fill some of these white spots, even though it's green. I think it might help blend. That looks a lot darker on camera for some reason than it does in real life. Don't know why, but you guys gotta trust me. When I take a picture of it for my Instagram, I'll try to make sure that I color correct the photo so it looks accurate. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Let's work on the curvature of the hill here a little bit. I think what we're gonna do is take a little bit of this and we're gonna work it upwards ever so slightly. Oh, I'm lifting some of the paint. This is why I hate, guys, I shouldn't say hate, I really dislike this watercolor paper, because you can barely like glaze or anything on it and it starts lifting. See, this is like the colors from underneath. And so you gotta wait for it to dry and then try and patch it up, but it is like, Not great. Not great at all. Even for like, I wouldn't call it like cheap watercolor paper. It was more like mid-range. For mid-range, I'm kind of like, I don't think I'd buy it again. But I bought like a huge, it's like this big. And I've had it for years and I'm still working on getting rid of it. So yeah. What was I doing, chat? I was using, oh, this blue. A little bit more here. And then maybe what we're gonna do is add some, we're gonna add some strands of grass that kind of come up a little. Oh, this music's so serious. Yo, painting's a serious business. I'm just gonna add a little here. Oh, actually, wait, maybe I don't want to soften that out too much. That looks good on the camera. Kind of nice being able to see it from a distance. Oh my lord, that's so much better. Okay, we're getting the depth we wanted. Yeah, that's much better. All right, guys, I need to turn on my air conditioner. Give me 1 second. All right, it's getting serious. I had to take my jacket off. All right, chat, we gotta do this thing. We gotta make this better. All right, so now we need, I'm thinking mid-tone greens and slowly start working those like details in. Mid to, well, maybe I shouldn't go too light just yet. Let's see what we can mix up. I kind of like what we had going here. Let me add a little bit more white paint to this. And then I'm thinking more of this yellow. Be really generous with the yellow. Because it's really not that strong. Alright, now we need more, get more green. Just a bit more. Let's see if we can rescue this. It's definitely going to be thicker so that we actually see it. Alright, this seems pretty good. Let's see what happens. I can barely see it. But maybe that's good. I think I might want to be a little more subtle. I'm not in love with this brush. I wish I had like a rounder brush that wasn't as pointy. Maybe I should be using this one, chat. Let's try this. Try and get the color out of this brush. Alright. This time for sure. Let's see if we can drop this in more. Oh yeah, that's better. Now it's going on pretty wet now. So we're gonna see what happens when this dries. Like, if it could stay that bright, then I think that would be good. But I don't know if it's going to. Which means we might need to mix. We need to ensure this stays. Let's mix more white into it. No sense wasting our time. Oh yeah, there we go. Grab some green. All right, here we go. Operation Fix the Grass. See, it almost needs to be a little wet though, otherwise it doesn't drop it in quite as soft as I want it to. All right, we're figuring this out. Oh, that's a bit much. Chad, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing? I'm doing my best. It doesn't look like it, but I am. I keep looking over in the monitor to see how it's looking, and I'm just like, eh. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's not great. All right, we gotta trust the process. It's like the tree. We just gotta keep layering. We just gotta do it. Try and, you know, I think honestly I should have went in more mid. This is too high light like range. But maybe like we'll put the midtones back over these to kind of like rein it in. And then maybe we'll go back and then we'll just kind of like, we'll kind of bounce. All right, let's grab our slightly thinner one for back here where we're gonna, hold up, this got blotched on way too strong back there. We're just gonna flick in little points on the grass back here. Okay, I'm liking it. This is the grass strands. And maybe we could use, chat, we could use like combination. This bigger brush and then this smaller one. Do some like thinner detail. I wish I had, chat, I wish I had this other painting with me that's back home that I did. It was one of my like later oil paintings before I kind of like switched to mainly doing digitally. And I was really heading the direction where I was being a little bit more impressionistic and loose with my brush work. And I have to say, I think I did a decent job on the grass on that one. And so I'm trying to like channel what I did for that. And I think what I did is I kind of like used a brush like this, and I kind of just like scrumbled in the values. I don't know if scrumble's a word, but that's what I did. And then I went later in with a smaller brush, and I kind of just like found those spots where I thought it looked like a highlight or a shadow belonged, and then I did put in some like darker and lighter strands just to make it look a little bit more like grass. But it wasn't every little section, right? So I'm not painting grass strands everywhere. You're being selective about patches. I've heard that like painting grass is like hair, where you want to like indicate sections of detail, but it's mostly just kind of like blended colors together. Like anything, there's like dark spots, there's light spots. And there's gonna be, of course, a few like really bright, like specular highlight moments. Kind of like what I'm doing here. But yeah. We're gonna see if it works. We are gonna see. I like as it's drying, it's actually... I didn't want it to at first, but I'm actually happy that it's kind of melting into the background. That way, when I layer more, I think it's gonna be a little bit more forgiving. Which is what we need. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, that's a little thick. Okay. That's one of the spots we can fix later. Kind of wish this did have a little bit more yellow in it though. Let's add a little bit more. The white paint really desaturates. I think I just need to have different expectations to like what I can achieve vibrancy wise with the gouache when I'm painting in a more less like illustrative way. You know, like the Elmo we did was obviously like really bright, but I was using like paint straight out of the container. Like I wasn't mixing anything. When you start getting into like the mixing area, anytime you add white, things end up really like desaturated. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just a different style. I think it just looks different to what I'm used to. And it also could be because I started this painting kind of thinking like a watercolor artist. But again, I think I need to learn to think more about like end process. We're getting there, chat. We're learning. Alright, let's add our little strands up here. Do you think we need a wee bit more water? I think this like area back here really is subtle to where the like land kind of gets darker with the hill back there, but I think it's okay. Here's the only thing I'm wondering, chat. I think I might want to lower that though, because it's not really making sense with the flow of the land. Like if we... I think it would cut more... a bit more like this actually. It's better to fix it now than regret it later. Let's see if I can gently persuade this to go upwards a bit. And also fix this highlight here. The paint is lifting. No! Stay. Okay. That feels better. Yeah, it feels better. It does kind of have like an upward... I don't know if I want it to go upward, because we got to think about where our eye is going to go. I don't know, like, I feel like if it points upward, it's kind of like leading your eye out of the painting. And I think if we slope it a little, it'll kind of like keep bringing our eyes into this section. That could be crazy. I think that's what we need to do. Let me know, guys, if that in your mind made a difference. We could probably go a little more, actually, chat. Just subtle. That just feels a lot better to me for some reason. Did you guys notice a difference? Like, could you feel that it, like, now your eye is staying in the painting? Or before it felt like it was kind of like, kind of pulling you off in that direction. I want everything to just kind of keep us in this zone. Dun, dun, dun. I think we need to add a little The grass up there got a little messed up. I think last time we were painting. Because I was trying to hide that ugly tree that I put in there, and then I decided the last minute to get rid of. Alright, you know what? We're gonna let it dry, and then we'll come back to it because it's not looking worse. This is fine. Alright, while we wait for this to dry, because we can't put in any more highlights, I think what I want to do, grab just a bit more yellow, do a few more thinned out strokes to do like the sharp points of the grass, and then we're gonna try and do like a mid-ish tone, like a cooler but lighter green. Somewhere like that. I'm just gonna add a little bit of this here at the edge. And then let's go with this brush and just drag it down a little. We're almost creating like rim lighting on the edge of that hill. Also, I'm doing something I probably shouldn't be doing, chat. I'm working without a reference at this point. Not advisable, but we're doing it. Breaking rules one day at a time. It's subtle, but I think it's helping create a little more drama back here. My brush isn't really wet, it's just kind of like a little damp. So it's not washing the color, it's just kind of pulling it. Oh my lord, this looks so much better. It's coming together. It's gonna be all right. Okay, we just have to not mess up this next step. That's all. That's all, chat. That's all we gotta do. All right, I'm gonna rinse out this color into this because we're gonna be using pretty much these anyway. I need to get some clean water. All right, we're probably gonna go another 15 minutes, and then, you know what I need to be doing, chat, is I highly recommend this. Walk away from your painting for like 5-10 minutes, right? And in that meantime, I'm gonna brush my teeth. But like by walking away and not looking at it and then coming back, it is really helpful to kind of like notice what you need to do next and some mistakes that need fixed. So we're gonna do that, but first we're gonna mix. We're gonna mix more of this green. We're gonna cool it down and make it a little bit darker. It's definitely giving slime green. We may want to add a little bit more yellow to it now. And I'm gonna add a little bit of, it's more like, it smells like cadmium yellow. Desaturate it a little bit. If you make your greens too cool, they look a bit unnatural. So I'm always trying to like warm up my greens a little bit. That was a mistake I made a lot in the beginning. I should show you guys when I get home this one painting that was, honestly, I learned so many lessons from it. I think it'd be a really good one to go over with you guys and look at. Especially if you guys like ever want to get into oil painting. I can just tell you everything what not to do, and then you guys are literally gonna be on the path to success, and you're gonna bypass all the mistakes I made. So many mistakes. Although, should I call them mistakes? Learning, so many learning experiences. I feel like there's such a like a negative like thought process around the word like mistake or failure. So rather than me trying to like change my brain chemistry to not think of the word that way, I think it's easier just to think of a new word. Call me crazy. Is this? Oh my gosh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. Hold on, I pull this back a little. Just kind of subtly layering these in. Now, I'm not using the pointed brush yet. Why? Because I'm not sure if I need to. I might later, but I'm not 100% certain that's the path the way I want to go with it. I'm just trying to create a little bit of value and a little bit of texture diversity here with these paints. We're gonna have to work on these highlights. I think once they're dry, chat, I'm gonna go over them with a little bit of like a wash of the yellow again to soften the edges, give them a bit more saturation, and kind of like blend them all as one. But we don't want to overwash it, so we'll have to be careful. A little bit here. I think we're gonna have to go through and reestablish some of the dark spots, like under the shadows of the cows. I feel like I ended up kind of losing those spots just a wee bit, which is something we can bring back, thankfully. Also think we need to add some highlight here behind the cow. Because that grass back there won't be in shade. Okay, I think we're doing good. I know I said I wasn't gonna do anything to cow, but I did just notice, like this section needs to be a little darker. And here. We're gonna let that dry. Blend it just a little bit. Boom. Okay. What we're doing here with this grass. It's fun doing like this streaming because what I did last time I painted on it, is fun. I could like go back in my stream and like scrub through and kind of almost see like a time lapse of how it came together. I was like, this is so cool to be able to see it kind of like come together. Let's grab. But you know what, chat? I actually have like almost like, I'm gonna call it like emerald, but it's also giving like phthalo blue. Phthalo blue? How do you pronounce that? It's like this, guys. It's like much more greenish blue. It's very vibrant. I'm thinking for these like establishing these dark sections, I might use that. But I want it to be pretty vibrant. So I'm gonna add some of this yellow with it. Oh, that is maybe a bit much. Also, what we can do is use a dry brush so we can apply a little and then kind of work it out. That looks actually pretty good. We might just do that. 'Cause I'm not hating this, I just want to make sure we do it subtly. Oh yeah, it's working. I feel like this is so subtle, I don't know if you guys can even see. It's kind of what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this brush here with my really saturated like Crayola green, and I'm just kind of like resting it down, kind of like a little bit over the darks and then a little bit around them. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking my dry brush and just kind of like flicking it upwards a little bit and down, just kind of like dragging it around, breaking out the edge. So it's creating a little texture, but it's also not going too crazy. And it's adding a little bit of saturation. Yeah, that looks nice from the distance. I feel like we're building up more like texture and like interest in the foreground, which is good. It needed that. I'm gonna go a little bit heavier here around the legs because I want this to be a little bit more in shadow. And around this little cow over here too. Just kind of wet that a little bit. Not too wet. Try a little more. We need to also reestablish this cow's tail. It pretty much disappeared back there. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. More in here. I'm trying to like use the brush to add some texture here. I can flip the top sections here. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to keep layering like this, chat. Maybe we let this dry so I can do some of that wash that I want to do. Where's my... Oh, here it is. Alright, I think this is dry enough back here. A little bit more water so we have a sharper edge. Just gonna pull out some grass strands up here. Subtle. Not too much. And then maybe add a couple of these highlights back in down here. Yeah, let's just keep layering this, chat. I think this is the strat. This is working well. Just gonna soften some of the edges here on these ones we put down originally. It's kind of working nice and picking up, so. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we're like subtly blending things back together, but also still keeping the edges on some spots. I do think some of these are a little too sharp edged. So this is what I'm thinking we're gonna do when I come back. I have to clean my yellow. I mixed it with way too much green over there. I'm just gonna put straight yellow on my brush. See if you guys can see. And then I'm gonna touch just ever so slightly these certain points with a little bit of saturation. See how that just kind of like sits it back in a little nicer? But it's still there. But like these unnatural, like too much white was in this, and so we gotta blend some of it a little bit back. But it's looking good. All right, chat. I'm gonna go brush my teeth, and then we're gonna be back. Oh, that's a lot of paint on that brush. So chat, I'll be right back, and then we're gonna finish this thing. Alright, chat. That was a long time. I was trying to figure out, after I brushed my teeth, I was like, where does my sister keep ibuprofen? And I couldn't find it. So yeah, it was me searching the house for a while. But we're back. We are back. Alright. Grass. We were... Oh, that's right. I was going to use the yellow paint. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I need to wet it again. Everything's drying on my palette. Yeah, let's just do... I don't want to go too much more in the grass. Because we could really go till the cows come home. No pun intended. Actually, pun intended. But I don't want to go too much longer. Just kind of like blend this shadow out area though here. And then maybe a little bit more here. And then also, let's just fix this cow's tail while we're thinking about it. A bit darker than that. And this cow too. There we go. Alright, let's go into our yellows and see if we can fix this. I don't really want to rinse this brush out, but I think I need to. I'll see if I can just get the paint to come out. My palette up here. Sounds like we're coming to the end of this album. I think next up is like those Minecraft songs. Get ready, chat. Definitely accidentally mixed way too much green into our nice little yellow over here. So I'm just gonna mix it back into this. See if I can get it cleaned up. I'll show you what I mean. I got it a bit muddy. Alright, that's probably... that'd be pretty strong. Let's do it. Let's just work, I think, right to left. Okay, it's looking good. Let's add a little bit of water here. We might want to try a brush that's dry. I do. Let's try dry brushing this out a little bit. Oh yeah, that's working. Okay. Like layering it, and then we can dry brush some of this. That way we're not lifting up really too much of the surface around. So I gotta be careful if I wet my brush too much. I wonder if I should have not... I don't know, chat. I should have not put that back too far here. Just gonna wipe it downward a little bit. Let's drop my brush. Now the question is, chat, does the tree need more work, or do we just say, you know what? It's good enough. That's the question. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think the tree's good enough? Or should we give the tree a little bit more attention? Maybe we should check our reference again. Just kind of look again before we give it a final. Blend this in here a little bit. To the edge. All right, I think our grass is pretty much, I think it's good. I think we're gonna leave it. I think it's time to say goodbye to the grass. Now the question is, I do think I want to put a few more strands of, let me get some more white paint. I just want to do a little more highlights here on this left section, like down here. Because I feel like I did a lot more on the other side there. And I like how that looked. Okay. Is it enough? I don't know. Only thing that's standing out to me, guys, is like there's a tree like back here, and I like how we blended it here, like the little bushes around the tree. And I'm thinking we need to do something similar here, just to kind of blend it, because it is slightly green. I want to add a little bit more blue. I'm gonna like dry brush applying this. Yep, better. Okay, what else, chat? Let's take a good look at it. I think we pretty much fixed the tree and sky issue. You know what I'm seeing here though, guys? See this little section in here? Kind of, it's giving like tangent. Not in love with that. So we got two choices. We can either try and get rid of this branch here that's reaching down, or we need this branch to come down further. If we do, we need to be careful, because we don't want it to come down too far. You know what I mean? I think I did like almost a purple, didn't I? When I was doing this. All right, I think we're good. A little bit there. All right, let's go back and where's my phone? Well, I don't know where my phone went. I'm gonna pull it up on my computer. I think my phone's gone. It's somewhere around here. Dun, dun, dun. Let's go. I think I'm putting my favorites. Technically, there's more. Here's kind of what I want to try doing. It'd be a really bad idea. I'd really like to go with like almost like the tone we have in here, and do that kind of like on the edges to do some like depth variation on the branch. Like, I kind of like what's already happening, but I think we just need a little bit more. Because right now the tree looks a little bit thin. So what if we mix? I need a little bit of white, actually. I'm gonna mix a little bit of white, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of this red to come up with like a lavender color. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's kind of what we had. And I'm just gonna put in little branches here and there. Not really branches, but like leaves. Just there's a little bit more going on. But not enough that it like totally blocks the view, you know what I mean? I feel like I need to pull... Yeah, let's see if I can pull this camera closer. I'm tired of like leaning over so much. Hold on, guys. It's about to get bumpy. I was like worried about it not being close enough to the window, but I think we got enough natural light coming in today. Alright, that shouldn't fall, knock on wood. It's pretty clamped on there, alright. Let me just readjust you guys. So we are level. Okay, now the camera needs a little bit. I think that'll be better. Although... Okay, there we go. Now I won't have to lean over as much. Alright, let's finish this tree up. Alright, what time? We're almost going on 4. We actually haven't been going that long. Which I'm surprised that I'm actually gonna have this done. I was expecting to like go overtime on stream today because I really wanted to finish this. I was like, I know I'm not gonna get it probably done that fast because it's been such a pain. But it's actually coming together. I think I just needed to like really sleep on this one. I've been like thinking about it like in the back of my mind, but I haven't been looking at it. And just kind of like trying to like trace back steps in my mind, like how I used to paint has been helpful too. I just still feel like I'm not as confident as I used to be with the physical mediums yet. We're getting there. Yeah, I think I like this chat. It's subtle, but it's giving us a little more layering to the tree. But not enough that's like super distracting. Which is definitely, I don't want it to be distracting. I'm trying to think, maybe a little bit more in this section. I might want to go back with some darker and even like take a branch out a little bit more. I feel like this tree got a little bit neglected, this tiny one back here. A little bit better. Now I think I'm gonna mix an even lighter one with more blue, less purple. I'm gonna do even more. Gonna need a little bit lighter than that there. I probably should have got fresh water while I was AFK. Oh well. We're just doing it. Okay, this seems good. Let me show you guys close up. See if we can get this to make it a bit more contrasty. You can't really see the subtlety that I'm seeing with my eyes, but what we're doing is we're kind of just using lighter color leaves now to give a little more dimension to this tree. I do think I'm gonna mix in a little bit more white. Put that down, see how that looks. Probably a little too much. Now it's a highlight. It needs to be a hair darker than the blue of the sky, but it needs to be much lighter. I don't know about that one. Okay, I think that's actually good. It's like this perfect balance we gotta find. Only other thing, guys, I'm looking at. Still not in love with this section here. I think we need to lighten up this tree in the background. Not like this tree, but like this back tree line, and then also fix whatever we did to the grass here. Gotta patch that up a little bit. Alright, just try and be a little more generous with the branches we're adding. I was being a little too spotty with them. Oh yeah, there we go. I kind of wanted to reshape this tree, guys. Okay, I think let's call it with the tree. Because you can just keep going and going, and sometimes that makes it a lot worse. Alright, let's fix the grass over here. I'm thinking what we're gonna need to do is maybe make this shade of green I was already using a wee bit cooler. Let's add a little bit more blue to it. Okay, let's see what this does. It looks a little bit more like this side. That's good. Now we can go over by just a little with this. Okay, very good. Now, what I want to do is mix together. Let's do it here. I want to make more of this tree line green that we had going back here. It's a little bit darker yet. There we go. I found the perfect match. And let's just bring it up here a little bit. And down here. Part here, it keeps lifting up. No watercolor paper, why? Stay calm. Yeah, once I use up this watercolor paper, I am never buying this one again, just because I think it would have worked nice if I was doing like less layering. I guess it probably just depends on how you like to paint, but for me, I like layer a lot, and it is just not holding up. I'm gonna hurt the light in this actually a little bit. A little dark. If we can patch it up. It's not patching. Alright, here we go, chat. We're gonna have to get more aggressive, but with a darker color. See if we can pat it in. Okay. Kind of working. Let's try and soften the edges out though a little bit. And I'm not hating the extra darkness in some of the spots there. Maybe we can do a little bit of that back here too. Just add a little bit in. Little value diversity back here in these trees as well. See, what was a mistake is now actually turning into something I think is making the painting look better. Trying to see. All right. Take a look. Guys, I might be speaking too soon, but I think it is now almost. Give me 1 second, chat. We're just gonna add one more thing over here a little bit. Just want to darken it up. It is now officially, almost officially, I think it's done. I think we did it. It's there darker. Yeah, I think it's done. Now, only thing we could do might be nice to just ever so slightly re-soften his edge that I made a little too sharp. I kind of like the way it blended up with the sky a little bit here. I think it kind of felt nice. Also, this tree's standing too tall. Oh, our music stopped. I guess we went through the playlist. Shoot. I gotta make that playlist longer. I should probably add the Horizons Volume 1 to it. Oh, yeah. This looks so much better than how it looked like 2 sessions ago. Do you think, though, I feel like this tree just, it's just lacking. It feels like it doesn't have a purpose. You know what I mean? Or it's just like, what is my purpose? Like, I wonder if I should have done a better job, like, lumping it in the beginning. You know? If we add maybe some branches just to expand it a little bit. Like, compositionally speaking, it's not really doing much. Hold up, chat, we need music. I can't work without music. Dun, 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 dun. Let's re-listen to, honestly, the Minecraft ones are pretty darn good. Alright, it's gonna loop. Let's go. And maybe it's because the tree's like leaning so much. That might not be helping either. Or I'm just overthinking it, chat, and we need to just leave it be. Proceeds to continue painting. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I think it was just a little too perfectly shaped, so now we have a bit more shape diversity here. Alright, as far as the cows go, I think we're good here. There are some, like, edges I wish were a little bit blended on the cow. Like, just maybe a little bit here. And just kind of spots where darkness is showing through there. Other than that, I think we're done. Yeah, I think we're done. Alright, so last thing we need to do is sign it. And here's the dilemma, chat. I'm in this like weird limbo. Oh no, I got green paint up here. No! Let's see if we can fix that. I'm in this weird like limbo where I'm changing my signature because I didn't like it and it looked too much like my legal signature. Not actually, it didn't look that much like it. But I just didn't want it to look like it at all. I wanted it to look like an artist signature, you know what I mean? And so I've been like working on one, but I'm not sure it really speaks to me. And like, I don't want to like put it on and then later be like, yeah, no, you know? But that said, I already have like a bazillion paintings with my old signature, so maybe we just commit. Alright, let me warm up. I need a practice sheet. Where's my notebook? Okay. Let me show you guys. I'm trying to remember how I was doing it. We're set aside while we let it dry. Alright, so for my signature. Oh shoot, guys, I'm gonna have to pull up my website to look at it. This is the problem when you just invent one, it takes you a while before you. Oops, just knocking over everything. Before you have it all like memorized. Okay, let me pull up my website. And I'm also on the fence where like I want to do. Alright, so it looks like I did this. And then that. And then no, I didn't do the S like that. Actually, I was kind of torn, guys. There was like a really like pretty way of drawing the S, but I think I ended up opting for a more like subtle one. I think this is what I have on my website, which is nice. It's kind of fun. Like the E kind of like extends out, but then I was kind of like, does the E look too much like a C? I think I have to be careful that it doesn't connect like under here. And then I'm more, but I did like, I liked making like the M start over like the part of the E. But I'm not sure. And then I kind of leave like a tail on the B. I really like acronyming like my initial and last name. Like, I feel like I just like acronyming that better. Alright, let's just try signing it with this. It's not like 200 years from now they're gonna be like pulling out my notebooks and being like, is this actually a painting by Emma? And they'll be comparing signatures from the decades. Then they'll be watching back my... Well, I guess they could just watch my old videos and they can see me talking about it. Unless they lose them. Oh well. Alright, chat, dare we do it in ink? Technically, I mean, it's not right or wrong. I could do this in... I could do it in paint, but I really, 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 really hate painting on my signature. It stresses me out. I'd rather use a pencil. So I think I'm just gonna do it in graphite, as one does. I'm gonna sharpen this. And it's a really light graphite pencil, so if I make some mistakes, I can fix them easily. It's not gonna be too dark. Alright, here goes nothing. Keep our reference there. Also, the stressful part is like, where exactly do we want to fit this in here? Like, not too high, but not too low. Well, that's a lot darker than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, we're committed. We are committed. Well, that should have been a lot further to the right. Alright, we got an option, chat. We put in the last part of my name to make up for the awkward space. Oh my lord, how many mistakes can I make? There we go. I really hope someday someone's just looking at this and they're like, man, look at that effortless painting and signature. And then whoever watched me do this whole 3-part cows in a field process, they're just gonna be like, you have no idea the struggle every single section of this painting literally had. Now, you're not supposed to date them on the front. Some people say, some people do it. I did it for a while, and honestly, this could be an unpopular opinion. I like having the date on it because 1, I'm too lazy to turn the painting around, which is another spot you could put the date. And then 2, I've also heard that like sometimes canvases get like reframed and then like the wood part, like if you write it on that section, it will get thrown out or whatever, replaced. But I mean, this is not a canvas, so you don't have to worry about it. But I do like putting the date somewhere on like my watercolors, either the front or the back, because I honestly forget when I made things, and if I don't photograph it, I won't have any documentation of like when I finished it necessarily, and so I usually do put like a date on it. And then typically I have the size written down on the back, like whatever the size paper is. That way whoever gets it knows the exact size frame they need to get without necessarily having to measure it, which I also think is kind of nice. I wonder if I should sign it again. I don't know if that's a thing. Nah, I don't feel like doing it. Chat, we did it. I feel like the graphite doesn't show up too much. I can't see it from a distance. Looks kind of nice from a distance. I wish I could show you guys like a little bit more of how it looks to the human eye. It still is showing up a bit cooler blue than what it looks like in real life. Like these greens are a bit more warm and yellow, which is nice. I'll try to get a good picture of this. I'm gonna get the hold down, and I'll put it on my Instagram. So we're gonna do that. Or I might end up like color correcting some of my stream videos and doing like a time lapse. which I might either put on my YouTube or do it on my Instagram. I'm not sure. Also kind of thinking, this is off topic of gouache painting. This is on topic of like social media. I'm thinking of maybe not doing all the silly duck drawings as much, just because I put a lot of time into my silly ducks, and it's not that I don't enjoy doing it, but like the process of recording them for my social media and then like putting them on is so draining, and only like a handful of people see them, which I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for everyone who's following me and has like shared my work and shown love. But I'm thinking I need to put more of my energy into my streams, because I feel like I'm reaching more people through my streams than I am through my my shorts and reels. So I may not be doing as many like silly duck reels, and I might start doing maybe more clips from stream, or just like projects I'm working on. I just want to start doing things that are like easier to record and document my artwork, also in a way where like I feel like I want to get people to get to know me better, which is why I like streaming. So if I can come up with a format that I feel like isn't cringe, but a way for people to get to know me and like the projects I've been working on, and then maybe people will be more interested in the duck then. I don't know. I'm on the fence with it. I've already created like all the ducks for June, which is like, how many ducks is that? Like 8, 10 ducks. So yeah, we'll see. We're gonna see what happens. But as for today, we have finished this. It is done, and honestly, I don't hate it, which means I can give it to my sister like I had planned. It's starting to get dark outside, so it's a little bit hard to see for you guys. I'm sorry about that. But I will post a picture of it, and then maybe I'm gonna try and get it to like flatten out a little bit. The paper did buckle a tad, not as much as it does the watercolor. So maybe next week, after I get it flattened out, I'll show it to you guys again. Hopefully there's a little bit more sunshine then. But yeah, guys, we came, we saw, and we conquered this painting. I'm so grateful that we have it done. I think it turned out good. It was definitely, like in the beginning, you guys might remember if you watched the first two, it was a bit of a struggle. Honestly, it was a bit of a struggle today too. But again, I think when I was talking earlier in stream, talking about trying to like hone in how I approach painting digitally and how I layer the paint, and thinking more in that kind of like mindset has really helped. Because really, if you're patient enough and you wait for it to dry, you can really keep layering the gouache paints. And I think I wasn't like taking advantage of that enough like I normally do. So yeah, lesson learned. We're getting a little bit better. Maybe next painting we do still life, but I kind of want to do another landscape. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't done landscape painting in so long that I really missed it. So we might be doing some more landscape. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. We shall see, guys. I'll come up with some options, and then maybe I'll have you guys help me finalize my decision. But everybody, I hope you all have a really nice weekend. And yeah, everybody, until next week, like I always say, keep on creating, and I'll be seeing you guys next week. Alrighty. Bye, everyone. Thanks again.